Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture on analogy between bird's flight and airplane design, dragonfly flight and helicopter design, and whale body contour and the submarine body design. In this lecture, you will study about biomimicry, a very brief introduction to biomimicry, along with some of its examples. Analogy between the bird's flight and airplane design, that is the similarity and differences between these two. Then we will also learn about dragonfly flight and helicopter design and the similarities between these two. Finally, we will study the whale body contour and submarine body design. The term biomimicry is derived from two words, bios and mimicry, meaning life and imitate. It is basically a science that involves the study of nature to create nature-inspired designs, and these are used to solve many human problems. So basically it refers to studying the ideas that are found in the nature, understanding their design, and emulating or applying them to solve various human problems to make our life easier. The first flying machine was created inspired by the flight of eagles and the wing structure of owls. There are scores of examples for biomimicry. A few are given here. The first one is bullet trains in Japan are inspired by the kingfisher beak. There are certain ventilation systems which are inspired by the termite mounds, and also Velcro, which is used in shoes and bags, etc. This Velcro, this was inspired by the birds. So coming to the first analogy, that is similarity and differences between the bird's flight and the airplane design. The first flight design was inspired by the bird flight. In the year 1903, Wright brothers, they designed a plane and they successfully ran the first flight, which lasted for only 37 seconds. It was made up of wood, canvas and wire. You can see the progressive design of this flight, whatever they constructed from 1900 to 1903. To successfully carry out this flight, they have observed the birds thoroughly to understand their mechanisms of flight. By observing the birds, they realized that they have to adjust the angle at the end of the blades of this plane for control of the flight, and they performed this by mimicking how the birds bend their outer feathers. They also observed the soaring of birds. Soaring is flying up along the vertical direction. So they observed this to achieve the roll control in flights. Then through a series of wires and pulleys, they were able to control their aeroplane, and they successfully flew their first flight in the year 1903. So coming to the similarities between birds and aeroplane design, the first important similarity is the contour or the shape of the bird's wing and the aeroplane blade. Both of them have a streamlined structure. So here you can see that the structure of the aeroplane blade and the bird wing is almost similar, as a result of which the transfer of or the movement of air along the wings and the blade, the pattern of movement of air is almost the same. So the shape of the bird and the airplane wing is almost similar. That is, it is a streamlined structure, and also the airflow pattern is same. So the airflow pattern over the blade and the wing, it determines the resistance to flow. If the resistance offered to flow is very less, it is easy for the flight to occur. So since this contour or shape of the bird wing is streamlined, it completely reduces the resistance to flow. The second similarity is the orientation and positioning of the bird wings, which is completely mimicked when an aeroplane is designed during the takeoff and landing of flight. So you have blades on the hind edge of the aeroplane, that is at the back of the aeroplane. So these are withdrawn completely during the gliding mode. This is copied exactly from the bird flight. Second thing is, when the takeoff happens, the blades on the hind edge of the plane, they open completely. Okay, they are moved forward so that the takeoff is very easy. And the blades on the hind edge of the airplane, they are extended. Okay, they are completely extended and they bend down, slightly bend down while landing. And the last one is the blades on the hind edge of the aeroplane. They are extended upward, completely upward on braking, as the speed has to reduce. So these are the two major similarities between the birds and aeroplane design. There are certain differences as well. There are certain differences. The first one is the birds, they can change their wing shape, the shape of the wing based on their feathers, whereas airplane wings or the blades, on the other hand, they have control surfaces and the flap spoilers, etc., to change the direction of airflow. Basically, the birds, they change their wing shape to change the direction of the airflow. So airplane blades, they cannot do this by moving their feathers because they do not have feathers. Instead, they have control surfaces and flap spoilers to do the same work. And the birds, they can move or flap their feathers as they fly, whereas an aeroplane cannot do that. So the next analogy is between the dragonfly's flight and the helicopter design. The first helicopter design. The first helicopter was designed in the year 1907, but in the year 1906, two brothers, that is Louis Charles and Jacques Briquet, they designed various wing shapes for helicopters. Finally, in the year 1907, they went for a rotary winged flight, which they named as the Gyroplane number 1. This is how the first helicopter looked like. Then almost 37 years later, in the year 1944, a Russian American by the name Igor Sikorsky, he flew the first mass-produced helicopter, which was named after him. It is called as the Sikorsky R4. The inspiration behind the flight and the design of an helicopter is the dragonfly. The dragonfly is the only flying insect that can actually slope its body and while flying in between. Now, this characteristic feature is also incorporated during the flight of an helicopter. Now, this spectacular feature the dragonfly can perform is because it consists of two sets of identical wings, one front set and one rear set. So here the front set of wings, it helps in lift. Lift is moving from a lower position to a higher position, whereas the rear set, that is the wings which are present at the back, they are used for propulsion. Propulsion is pushing the body forward. So what happens is, when this dragonfly is flying, within 1 second of moving forward, it has got the ability to fly backwards. That is, immediately it can turn around, and this is possible because the role played by the wings is reversed. So when it turns backward, because of the transitioning of muscles, now the rear set performs the act of lifting, whereas the front set helps in propulsion. Similar aspect is incorporated in the flight of a helicopter. So these are the main parts of an helicopter, that is the rotor mast and the main rotor blade, and also the tail rotor. So these are the features that help in maintaining the flight just like a dragonfly. So the rotor mast of the helicopter, which is present along with the rotor blade, it helps in maintaining the lift and generating of propulsion, just like in case of a dragonfly. The rotor blade structure is almost similar to that of the dragonfly wings. It has a slightly curved upper surface. Okay, the upper surface is slightly curved. So here what happens is the air flows very fast on the top of the blades because of its curved upper surface, and the flow of the air below the rotor blades is slow. So when this happens, a high pressure is created, and this results in the movement of the helicopter upwards. Whereas the tail rotor which is present, it rotates to stabilize the helicopter, or else the helicopter would be just moving around its own axis. So to prevent that, the tail rotor is present to stabilize the helicopter. So coming to the similarities between the dragonfly and the helicopter design, the wings of the dragonfly are made up of a composite material which are divided into smaller paper thin wing sections. The blades of the helicopter, the rotor blades of the helicopter, they are designed in a similar way and are made up of composite material, that is basically steel, and it is arranged or maintained in such a way that it does not crack easily under stress. The second similarity is that the lower edge of the dragonfly wings is thicker than the rest of the wings. The helicopter blades also have a similar design. Another similarity is that the dragonfly can change its course mid-flight, and this happens because of muscle transition. The helicopter can do the same thing, but here the difference is that it does so by the use of mechanical levers. So the last analogy is between the whale body structure and the submarine design. So before you get into understanding the similarity between a whale and a submarine, you should know what exactly is a submarine. So a submarine is basically a watercraft. Okay, this can operate underwater, it can float on water, and it can also operate underwater at extremely high pressures. So these were first used in the World War I, and now they are used by all the major navy. Additionally, you also have civilian submarines and submersibles. Submersibles are smaller submarines, and they are used in oceanography to perform marine and freshwater research projects. The first submarine was designed in the year 1620. It was actually a small submarine, a submersible, and it was designed by a Dutchman, Cornelius Jacob Zoon Drebbel. It was propelled, or it was moved forward by means of blades, okay, very long flat blades, also known as oars. So it was propelled forward, or it was moved by the means of these blades. In the year 1820, the French Navy, they designed a submarine which was the first submarine. And in the year 1893, a submarine was designed for the first time, which was run by engines on compressed air, and that was not propelled by means of human movement. It was called as the plunger. So this is how it looked like. So this was the first submarine which was run by engines. The working of a submarine is inspired by the whale. You know that whales, they can stay still without any movement. They can float in water without expending any energy. Now, when we get into the water, if we want to stay still or we want to float in the water, we have to move our arms. That is, we have to actually swim, and this results in expenditure of energy. But whales, on the other hand, whales and dolphins as well, they can stay still and they float in the water and they do not use any energy when they do this. So the concept behind this is density. So the objects which have density less than that of water, they tend to float on the surface of the water. And those who have the density more than the water, they tend to sink in the water. So the whales, they have blubber. Blubber is basically a very thick layer of fat that is present at the bottom or under the belly of the whale. The density of fat is much lesser than water, and because of this, the whale can easily float on the surface of water. Now the same concept is applied for a submarine. The speciality of the submarine, just like the whales, is that it can float on the water whenever required, and when it has to hide from sight, it can float inside the water. So here also, the overall mass and density of the submarine is changed so that it can float or sink in water. So to do this, there are flotation tanks in the submarine. Flotation tanks, when they are empty, the overall mass of the submarine reduces. So the water which is stored inside these flotation tanks, they will be pumped out completely. So when this is done, the overall weight of the submarine reduces. So when the weight of the submarine reduces, as the volume is constant, the density will reduce. So the submarine floats. If the submarine has to sink or go underwater, the flotation tank is opened and the submarine takes in water. So when the water enters inside, the weight of the submarine increases, and this results in sinking of the submarine. With this, we have reached the end of this lecture. Thank you.